So last night I streamed a game called Simulacra 2, and for full disclosure, I was given a key for this game. I didn't pay for it, so bear that in mind when we are talking about this game, because I'm going to be quite positive about this one, and I just want you guys to know that I was given the game for free, so I didn't pay for it. So maybe that could have had an influence on my opinion. I honestly don't think it would have, but there we go. That is all out of the way. So, Simulacra 2, what is it? It is a horror game, and it's a very hard game to try and put into a specific genre. It's a horror game which is FMV, so it has full motion video in there, it has real actors and actresses in there, and you play the role of either a detective or a journalist, and you are investigating a murder. It's essentially a murder mystery game, and you have access to the victim's phone, and you're going to be looking through that phone. You're going to be looking through messages and Instagram posts, or they call them Chimera in this, but you're going to be looking through their Instagram posts, their Twitter posts. You're going to be looking through their mail, their messages, and you actually, at some part, you actually start to message the victim's friends and start to question them that way. And the whole point of this game is to figure out what happens. And right at the start of the game, your detective buddy or whatever tells you that there's something more going on here. There's definitely something more going on. The case has been shut, but something's not quite right. And right from the get-go, it's obvious that there's something seemingly paranormal. We don't 100% know if it is paranormal yet, but it obviously looks paranormal here. And so it's this really interesting premise where you're looking for clues, you're trying to figure out what's going on, all the while you're digging through someone's phone. And the game's quite on the nose in a lot of ways. The victim was an influencer. She's basically an Instagram influencer, and all of her friends are influencers. And a lot of these characters are almost parodies of real life kind of people. You've got the scam artist who is scamming his way to the top and lying about his success to get people to pay him money. You've got the jealous types. You've got all of these sort of Instagram stereotypes, I guess you could say, but the interactions between them is all very interesting, and you're delving into all of these characters, their Instagram and their Twitter. The game calls them Chimera and Jabba, but they're basically Instagram and Twitter. But you're delving through all of their posts and delving through their profiles and actually going down into the comments and looking at the comments, and this is where you're going to be finding all your clues. And once you find the clues, you put the clues together and you then start to make inferences. And honestly, this game is so interesting. It's one of the most interesting games I have played in a long time. Now, I don't think it's gonna be for everybody. It is definitely as I say, it's an interesting game, but it's definitely a bit of a weird one. Like the majority of the game is you're sat at a phone, and I believe this game came out on mobile first. It's been out a little bit on mobile already, and it's just now come out on PC, and honestly it controls fine on PC. There's no problem with that, but the entire game you'll be staring at a phone and you'll be going through a phone. And it's kind of almost like a metaphor for real life, I guess, that you're just sat there going through stuff that you probably would be going through anyway. It's almost like the game understands you, and it understands how you're going to play this game. The game doesn't really tell you all that much what to do. It gives you a basic idea. This is what you need to do. You need to solve the mystery, and every now and again you will have your boss or your whatever. He'll come and say like, oh, maybe we should question this person, and that's about it. But the game really doesn't tell you how to get the clues. And what's really interesting is that quite a lot of the time I'm getting clues way ahead of when I should do, because I went into the comments and I found this little piece of information and I go, okay, I now know that this person lived in Jacksonville. When am I gonna need that? I might need that information later. And then later on, it's like, oh, now I know why I need that information. And this whole game has this really sort of addictive, like, oh, just that one more little clue that I found, and then you put that little piece together. But it's like going down the rabbit hole. I guess that's a really good way of saying it. Like, you end up going down this rabbit hole. Every single piece of information you unlock gives you something, but then that leads to more questions, and every single time you solve a puzzle or you figure something out, you are presented with even more questions. And I really enjoy that about this game. And I was streaming it last night. I streamed it till about 1 a.m. because I was so invested in this world that was all presented through a mobile phone. And I guess, you know, that's real life now, isn't it? Everything's on our phones. We're all on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and whatever. We're all on those, and it's really interesting. And the game definitely has this element of self-awareness, and a lot of these characters, even though they're parody and the acting is honestly kind of laughable at times, the characters, you could believe that they were true. You could believe these characters were real people. They act quite a lot like the real people do in the Instagram world, and I like it. I like it a lot. And yeah, I wanted to do maybe a buy it or bin on this one. And the only reason why I haven't done a buy it or bin is because I haven't really got to the horror yet. I'm about 5.5 hours in, bearing in mind I was on stream, so you end up, games take a lot longer when you're on stream because you end up chatting to your chat and stuff like that. But about 5.5 hours in, and so far the horror hasn't really kicked in. And one thing that I kept saying to my viewers was that this really reminds me of Doki Doki. It really reminds me of Doki Doki Literature Club, which was another game that started off really slowly and seemed normal, but the more you went down the rabbit hole, you realized that nothing was what it seemed. And I think this game so far really reminds me of that. It reminds me of that every time you learn something new, it kind of changes your perception about the game, and I really enjoy that so far. And so honestly, if I were to do a buy it or bin at this point, it would definitely have been a buy. I think the only people who are not going to like this are people that don't like either FMV or who don't like games where you are reading a lot, because this game is a lot of reading. Like, I mean, I think probably more reading than any other game. I mean, the whole game is about reading. It's about reading the comments and the Instagram likes and the posts and delving into them and trying to figure things out. And that's what it is. It is all about reading. So it's definitely not a game that I would say you would probably just kick back and relax after a hard day at work. It's more of a, right, I'm solving a mystery, and that's it. It's a little bit of a tricky one, but apart from that, I really do think this game is fantastic. I've never played Simulacra 1, but it's making me want to play it, and both games are relatively cheap, and for what fun I've had in the 5 hours that I've played, I would honestly recommend this to anyone. So yeah, I don't know, go check it out. It's okay. I'm going to be streaming it more on Sunday. I think it's a game that I think is very interesting and unique, which is hard to do these days, and I really appreciate it. But again, bearing in mind, I did get my copy for free, so just bear that in mind. Thank you, everybody, and I will see you next time.